We care about elections because we care who the president of the United States is. And one of the reasons that it's the president of the United States that makes the decision about whether the United States should be at peace or go to war. In leadership is what I want to talk to you about today. It's one of the most important but least understood topics in politics. And the findings from the research that I've been doing with several co-authors on the background experiences of leaders, I think can help us not just understand the way the world works in general, but specifically how Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump may behave if they're elected. I mean, we think that the background experiences of our candidates matter. Just think about the way we talked about them during the primaries. From Hillary Clinton's time as a first lady, to Ted Cruz as a parliamentary debater, to Ben Carson, his time as a medical doctor, to Donald Trump in business, et cetera, et cetera. We obsess over these things in every electoral cycle. Well, why? In my book, Why Leaders Fight, we build a statistical model with the background characteristics of 2,500 leaders from around the world from the late 19th century to the early 21st century and show that those background experiences actually play a large role in predicting whether leaders are likely to use violence in office, whether they're likely to use military force, and the experiences that predicate you toward that. And so what does this then tell us about the US presidential election? Well, we can plug in the background experiences of anybody around the world, any of you, of me, into our model and then generate a risk score for that leader. So we did that with Hillary and the Donald. Entering Hillary Clinton's background experiences into the model, keeping, former first lady, senator, secretary of state, a lawyer, married, one child, produces a risk score that puts her, this will not surprise you at all, exactly in the median for an American president. The US president that she's most comparable to is George H.W. Bush, suggesting somebody who would be assertive, but not too assertive, in the promotion of the United States abroad. So what do we get from Donald Trump? Married 3 times, several children, business career, but no political experience at all. He looks very different than you might expect. He's actually in the 20th percentile. President that he's most comparable to, Calvin Coolidge. Now, why might this be, for those of you that are not, historians of American presidents and of Calvin Coolidge in particular? Well, one reason might be that Trump has said that he's actually not very interested in America's traditional role abroad. Since World War II, the United States has committed itself to addressing threats abroad so they don't become larger and threaten the United States even more at home. And Trump has said, in fact, that he's interested in withdrawing from America's alliances in Europe, to giving Russia a larger sphere of influence, giving China a larger sphere of influence around the world. And what would that lead to? That would lead to actually a much less assertive American foreign policy abroad, which fits in some ways with a leadership score, with a risk score of him being in the 20th percentile. But I'll leave you with the fact that what our model helps understand is the likelihood that leaders will use military force abroad. It says nothing about the way they'll behave at home. Thank you.